Hi guys, welcome back to CINFLIX Recap. Today I'm going to recap a movie about a wild relationship between a professor and an innocent girl called Scarlet Innocence. Spoiler ahead and enjoy the story. The movie begins with a professor named Hakyu arriving in a bus station of a small town. As he is walking around the town and searching for a shop to buy cigarettes, he thinks to himself the town is old and weary and he doesn't like it much. While the professor is smoking outside a shop, a girl came out of the shop and stand beside him. And the girl with her innocent eyes stared at him, and she turned and left without saying anything. In the following scenes, we see the professor entering a class full of elderly people. He tells the elderly people to be young at heart again and be able to love again if they want to write a literature. During the break, the professor then meets the same girl again when he comes to buy a drink from the vending machine. The girl asks him why he wears a suit all the time. The professor replied that he is a professor and he teaches literature in the old age center. The girl tells him that he works as a cashier in the fun park, and she also tells him that she always thought that literature class will be interesting. So the next day when the professor entered the class, he sees the girl sitting inside the class. While narrating a story to the class, the professor tapped his finger slowly in the girl's table. The girl then breathed deeply and stared at his finger. In the next scene, we learn that the girl name is Sejong and she has a deaf mother and they communicate with each other in a sign language. When Sejong sleeps, she starts seeing the professor in her dreams. She sees them as a couple spending time together and kissing in her dream. While Sejong is closing her cashier booth and about to leave from her work, the professor saw her and say hi to her and leave. But Sejong went after the professor and tells him that he looks lonely and he looks like someone who needs a drinking buddy. The two then comes to a cafe and start drinking and sharing words. Then a phone suddenly rings and we learn that it is a professor's daughter who lives in another city with his wife, calling him to come back home. But the professor tells his daughter that he won't be coming home today and hang up the phone. The professor then asks Sejong if she wants to come visit his house in the town. She says yes and they come back together to the professor's house. When they enter the house, Sejong tells to the professor that she feels hot and the professor touches her face and tells her, "Your body is warm." Sejong then suddenly kisses him and the professor smiles, seeing her innocence. After that, the two begin kissing passionately and take their clothes off and start to make love. And while making love, Sejong tells to the professor that she is never going to let him go and she will always be there for him. It has been months that they are continuing their relation, and one morning while they are having coffee, the professor's phone suddenly rings and we learn that it is a professor friend telling him that he has some good news and tells him to meet immediately in a cafe. Sejong asks the professor to bring his friend home and she will make a delicious dinner for him. The professor tells her that he won't be long and leave. In the cafe, we learn from his friend that he was being accused of having an affair with young students and he was suspended from the previous university because of the accusations. His friend tells him that the accusation against him has been lifted and he can join his previous university again. The professor is delighted to hear the good news. When Sejong arrives the next morning, she sees the professor packing his things. She asks where he is planning to go. Then the professor tells her that he has been reinstated in his previous university. Sejong then tells the professor that she is pregnant and the professor then hugs Sejong and tells her not to worry, we will do what it needs to be done. In the next scene, we see the professor and Sejong comes to a clinic to remove the baby. After removing the baby, the professor brings Sejong back to his house and he let her rest. But when Sejong woke up, the professor was gone without saying anything or a single note. After some days, the professor comes back to the town and meet with Sejong in front of her house. He then gives her an envelope containing some amount of money and tells her not to wait for him. Sejong tells the professor that she loves him truly and she also tells him that she will tell his wife if he is thinking of dumping her. The professor tells her he doesn't want to hurt her and if she tells to his wife, he will hurt her badly. Sejong jumps onto the professor and tries to kiss him, but the professor pushes her to the ground. While they are arguing, we see Sejong's house is on fire, while her dead mother is sleeping inside. Sejong then rushes inside the house to save his mother. The professor called the fire department and left the scene without knowing what has happened to Sejong. While the professor reads home, his daughter comes out with tears, telling him that her mother is inside the room, locked up for hours and hasn't come out. While the professor breaks the door, enters the room, he finds his wife dead, hanging in the ceiling. It has been 8 years now, and the professor has become a well-known writer after publishing few bestseller books. We also see that he has been gambling and drinking, spending a lot of money from the money he earns from the books. One day his vision suddenly falls, and when he went to the eye doctor to check up, the doctor tells him that it's going to be worse in the coming days, and there is no cure of such disease. As his vision becomes worse day by day, a girl suddenly rings his doorbells, and as he opens the door, we see it is Mature Sejong. She tells him that she lives next door and she is a friend of his daughter. She also tells him that her name is In Jeong and his daughter asks her to bring food for him as he is not able to see properly. As the professor is eating, Sejong goes to his study hall and tells him that she is a big fan of his writing. In the next scene, we also see that Sejong has become close with the professor's daughter. Sejong then starts helping the professor with everything as he needs. She also starts acting as a caring mother and as a wife to the professor and his daughter. One day, the professor tells Sejong that he wants to relieve his stress and asks her to take him to a casino. The professor with Sejong starts gambling and begins to win round after another. The professor then thinks his luck favors him and asks Sejong to take him to a high-stake table. As he starts to play in high-stake table, he begins to lose round after another, and at the end, he is in a big debt. So he signs a contract with the banker to pay his debt. Without knowing what is written in the contract, after a few days, the banker comes and beat him up as he could not repay the money. The banker tells him that, according to the contract that he signed, it is time for them to take his daughter as he could not repay his debt on time. Then they kidnap his daughter and take her to a boat to Japan. The banker tells to the professor's daughter that his father sold her to them because he don't have money to operate his eyes. The banker also tells her that their neighbor is the one who tells them to execute this plan. The scene then shifts to Sejong helping the professor to take bath in a bathtub. While helping him, she starts telling a story about her past, that she used to work in an amusement park and her mother is deaf and she was just a child then. The professor holds her hand suddenly as he comes to know it is Sejong. Sejong then shouts at him, saying, "You ruined my life." So she tells him that she comes to take revenge for what he has done. In the following scene, we see Professor hearing someone moaning from the other room, and when he enters the room, he hears Sejong making love with another man loudly to make the professor hear and make him feel jealous. It has been months now. Sejong takes out the professor for a walk, and while they are talking, the professor's daughter suddenly appears from nowhere and tells Sejong that she made her pancakes and she has been meaning to eat for so long. While Sejong is making her pancake, the professor's daughter tells her that after she was kidnapped, she was sold to a wealthy Japanese old man. And she also tells her that after every night of making love, the old man always asks her what she wants. Then she used to tell to the old man that she wants to take revenge to the person who sold her life. She also tells her that after a long time, at last, he accepted her request. Sejong then comes to the banker place to ask him why he breaks the agreement that they had before. He tells her that he cannot do anything anymore because it has been ordered from people high above him, and tells her that she is alone in this now. When Sejong returns to her room, she saw the daughter waiting for her, and when she asks what is she doing here, she replied that she knows she is the one who made her father blind. At last, she tells her that she will do exactly what she has done to her and to her father. Sejong, after hearing this, asks her to see the professor for one last time. The daughter then replied, "You will see him, and my father will also see you too, through your eyes." The daughter then takes Sejong to meet the professor. Sejong then tells the professor that she can't be with him anymore and cry in front of the professor. The professor then touches her in the back and tells her that he will be able to see again because his daughter has found a donor. And he asks her to forgive him and want to start all over again from the start. Sejong with tears tells to the professor why he acts like a good man and tells him that he should stay as a jerk and stay evil till the end. The professor hugs her, tells her that he is sorry for hurting her too much. Then suddenly, they were grabbed from behind, covering their mouth with sedatives and making them to fall asleep. In the following scene, we see Sejong closing her eyes and filling the air as she cannot see anymore. And beside her is Professor sitting and taking care of her. And the movie ends here. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment what you feel about this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next video.